studies have come out which shows that a black woman mothered all people on the planet at this time. Woman, in fact, is physiologically more complex than the male. Hence, Eve cannot come out of Adam. Only Adam can come out of Eve. Africans created the myth of Isis and Osiris. Isis and Osiris, unlike Adam and Eve, give you a vision of the completeness of the human through the equality of the male and the female. We understood that the role of the woman, while being different, was equal in importance. And there were times when the role of the woman and the role of the man was one and the same. Many of the goddesses of the Europeans were black. The goddess of chastity was a black woman Arcana. They could have chosen their own women, they chose some of their own women, but the most important goddesses were black. And the life giver, we recognize that role as being over and above something that man could do. And that is the woman of the southern and eastern Africa. That is the black woman, total, final, complete Homo sapiens sapiens that produces our. That is the fundamental mother of mankind.
All right, all right, all right. Peace and Black power, and welcome to another episode or show, the Tea Talk with the Sisterhood. My name is Dr. Oya Ma'at, and I have a panel. Oh my goodness, something's still going on, family. Hold on. Okay, I'm sorry, family. So peace and Black power. Welcome to another episode of Tea Talk with the Sisters. My name is Dr. Oya Ma'at, and I am the co-founder and president of Ed Anime Productions. Sisters, before we get started, please go down the line and just introduce yourself to the listening audience or people who are going to be checking it out in the archives.
Peace and love, family. This is your favorite sacred sexpert, Raziki Zafira, and also have owner of Nature's Crown International. Welcome, and it's a pleasure to have you.
Hey, peace everybody. This is Monica with Tri-City Visionaries, profit organization. Where we teach small business and nonprofit organizations how to organize and manage business. Peace and love. Thanks for watching.
Sister Alima. Hey, sis.
Hi, everybody. Peace and love, family. It's Alima Lapawete. Alima Lapawete, author of Perceptions of a Misplaced African. Available now on Amazon and Kindle. You should go cop that if you don't have that. And I hope you guys enjoy this show.
Excellent, excellent. So each week, please join us every Wednesday from 1 p.m. until the sisters convene and we meet and we talk about, you know, issues that are on our minds. And not only do we discuss issues, we also talk about viable solutions. And so join us every Wednesday from 1 p.m. until. Before we get started, let's link up with let's venerate our ancestors. So one by one, please acknowledge, I guess, an ancestor, and the sisters will respond with Ashe.
Ashe.
Vagina Truth.
Ashe. Nina Simone.
Ashe. Harriet Tubman.
Ashe.
Dr. Francisco as well, sir.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Elizabeth Everett.
Ashe.
Whitney Houston.
Ashe.
Maya Angelou.
Ashe.
Anyone else? Ashe.
All the ancient sisters from the Dahomey tribe. Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe. And look, Black Panther made it. Black Panther, we were a little bit nervous, brother. We didn't know if you were going to make it today, but I'm so glad that you are here because I know you're going to give us some powerful information. And it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Today's topic is, or today, the question of today is, should Black people celebrate European holidays? That is the topic for today. And today we're going to go all the way in and we're going to talk about the dangers of Black people continuing to celebrate or participate in European holidays. And Black Panther is going to discuss with you some holidays that we should be celebrating. We need to learn how to celebrate ourselves. And so Black Panther will go down and describe various African holidays that we can participate in. You know, I don't want to use the word replace, but it seems like with our people, when you take something away, they want you to replace it with something. So, for example, when people come out of the Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, they say, okay, well, you took these religions away from me. What are you replacing it with? And so I've noticed that the question becomes, okay, if you take this away, then what are you coming with? And what I'm suggesting in lieu of celebrating European holidays is that we learn to celebrate ourselves, our ancestors, and our indigenous holidays. And so I know that Black Panther is going to bring it. About a year ago, he did a wonderful presentation here in Baltimore City at Everyone's Place, where he talked about the various African holidays. So, Brother Black Panther, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Lafia, Amandala, and Abibi Fuhudiye. Mossi Warrior Clean Up, Spirits is Flying, Armor Rock Squad Up. Peace to the panel. Peace, Dr. Mayat. I was given a different time, but I caught the message just in time. So I'm here. I'm ready to go. And I'm definitely going to talk about, you know, some holidays that we can substitute for these European holidays. I'm going to talk about, you know, some of the holidays that we do substitute, why we shouldn't, and just talk about our culture in general and why it's important to us and how these festivals, these days of worship, these rituals, these dances, these whatever we engaged in are what makes us African. And they're very important not only to our development as Africans, but they're very important for us carrying on the tradition that we are fighting so hard to protect from ruin and from extinction. So that's just a little bit of what I'll be talking about today.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, before we get into the discussion, I want to talk about some hot topics that have occurred between last show and this show. I know that your wife, Sister Alima, has an event coming up. Sister Riziki has some events coming up. And then I think Sister Monique also has some events coming up. So can we talk about some hot topics before we begin the show, starting with Sister Alima?
Well, this Friday here in Atlanta at 875 York Avenue, Caribbean vegan spot called Healthful Essence. If anyone is familiar with it, I will be having my first poetry reading at 6:30, from 6:30 to 7:30, and I'm going to talk about just different things that inspired me to write the book. I'm going to read several poems, sign some books, and just vibe and chill out with the people. So if you're in the area or surrounding areas, you should come out and see me. And if you want to purchase your copy before coming, you can get it, family, at Amazon.com or Kindle, and that's Perceptions of a Misplaced African, Volume 1.
And I'm going to take the Dr. Umar approach. If you don't go to my wife's poetry reading, don't call me, man. Don't talk to me. No, I'm just
We will make, we out of time. When we start being like, man, we'll make the next one. Definitely.
Did you go to my wife's poetry reading? No. Click.
We can't, he lying, family. It's not true.
That's phenomenal. You have a flyer? You got a flyer, Sister Lima?
I do. I don't know. See, I was trying to get on here on my computer. I had to re-download the plugin for the Hangout.
It's on your Facebook?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll get and
Okay.
share it.
I'm gonna get it together. Then I'll
I make
put it up.
I make sure to share it on the economic show.
Okay, thank you, Queen.
Of course.
I know that Sister Raziki, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Sis, can you go to Sister Alima's page and show the flyer? I really love the flyer. It's a beautiful flyer. I just want to show it to the people. If you could pull it up really fast for us.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll plug in
And
this.
right now, hold
Download.
on.
Got it.
Okay, there we go. Y'all can see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, this Friday,
Ooh,
family.
nice.
I'm
Yes.
excited.
Yeah, actually, I asked her this morning. I said, "Sister, are you nervous?" She said, "No." She said, "I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna just do my thing and go with the flow." And so I know that it's going to be a beautiful event. I wish that I was in Atlanta. I've been telling you guys for about 2 years
Yeah.
that I'm aspiring to one day make. I'm gonna make the move one day, sis.
Mm-hmm.
Man, all
But
right.
not,
He's so funny.
but now, I love that flight.
Yeah,
Flyers done by YG Preach from Revolutionary Mind Cinema. Shouts out to those brothers and sisters over there. That's
Yes.
who my primary flyer making people. And they working on a powerful DVD in which I will be in called Revolution or Exodus. So look out for RMC.
Indeed. Sister Raziki, what you about to do? What you got coming up?
Okay. I didn't know if you wanted to talk more about it. Okay, cool. Dang, y'all. Okay, let me shoot. Okay, so what I have coming up is called damn it. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all caught me. Okay, the sexual healing series. Yes. And it's going on July 15th at the Sweet Spot here in Atlanta. And let me share my screen. Am I still sharing my screen? No. Y'all can't, no. Okay, hold on. Let me share my screen again. Dang, man. Okay, here it goes. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, so yeah, the sexual healing series, July 15th from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. It's $25 in advance, $30 at the door. And again, this is a 4-part workshop educating how cultivating sexual energy has benefits both inside and outside of the bedroom. I, along with another powerful tantrika, we take you on a journey of healing through trauma, using sexual energy in love, life, relationships, how to manifest in business, how to heal from trauma, how man and woman can connect as far as healing their sexual organs and just their bodies, period. Again, using sexual energy. So I'm very excited to bring this to the community because in my work, I'm definitely noticing a lot of men and women who've been emotionally hurt and mentally hurt from the opposite sex. And we also have to create a safe space where there's no judgment and no dogmatism to be able to talk about these things and actually heal from them. So it will be every month. Again, at the Sweet Spot. And I also have a class starting in September. And I'm excited about that too, because I have a couple that enrolled from North Dakota. And I was like, damn, I didn't know there was Black folks in North Dakota, but it's all good. And then I'm also getting some people reaching out to me from Trinidad and Ghana. And so hopefully I'll be able to go over there and, really just spread the message of healing through love, man, because we want a nation built, but we got to definitely address the trauma that's going on individually before we try to become in a relationship. Actually, that's the guy from Ghana calling me now. I'm going to log out real quick, y'all.
Okay. And Sister Monica, what do you have going on, sis, coming up? Hello? Sister Monica? Oh man, a lot of sisters dropped off. I think Sister Monica dropped off. Sister Alima, she's back on. I think a lot of sisters fell off just now. I know that Sister Cheryl, is there anything that that your financial literacy team has coming up?
I know we're doing something in, I think it was Miami, that Garfield is putting together. I currently have a contract that I'm getting together with Georgia, in Georgia. So if anyone is unemployed, but they have to have been registered with Workforce Solutions and going through that channel, you can actually come to my classes for free. They'll be paid by the state of Georgia, just like I have a contract in Texas, the same thing. So I have that going on now in Georgia, in Atlanta. And I'm thinking of something else. I know Mo has something else going on for us, but I can't remember that. But it looked like she's back on.
She's back on. Okay. Sister Monica, tell the family what you had coming up. Sis.
So the next event we have coming up is in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we're going to be teaching on government contracts and nonprofit organizations, as well as Garfield's going to be talking about some credit. But then I also, once a week, we go live on a Dagger Squad and on Facebook, and we're teaching the young people on how to get the scholarships for school, where to go to practice for the ACT, SAT, and ASVAB testing, as well as teaching them how to write their resumes and draft up those bullet points, and seek and search for funding for school. So we do that once a week live. And then for those who are in Columbia, they can come out to 7356 Garners Ferry Road. Except for this week, we won't be at the Columbia location. We'll just be live on tomorrow. All the way up until the second week of September, we're going to be going live. We also have little packages that we give them out so they can understand the different their fortune. We also teaching them how to actually start the business. So far we had about 10 students, but we had a whole bunch watching that are interested. So that's free. We have a grant to be able to do that. And then on Tuesdays at 7 p.m., I do a budget class for government contracting and grants, teaching people how to properly pay people and how to organize their business so that they don't get audited and get caught up and get shut down with the government contract, as well as the nonprofit organizations. And then on Sunday, Tranisa does the preparing business documentation. Same thing, so that you can have the proper documents in place so that when you get the government contract or the grants that you are in compliance. And we do those on Tuesdays and on Sundays.
And then isn't everybody going up to New York for Sarnetta event? When is that again?
Yeah. August the 13th, the Unity Conference with the House of Consciousness. And I know we all will be there. I think Dr. Maya's going to be there. Yep. So we'll be down there August the 13th down in Harlem for the Unity Conference.
Fantastic. It seems like, oh my gosh, we got a lot. It seems like a lot is going on. On July the 17th, Meltrek episode 2 will be shown at the Black Film Fest in the UK. I believe it's on July the 17th, but I've just Googled Black Film. I think it's called Black Film Festival and Black Film Fest and Marketplace out in London. I believe it's going to happen on July the 17th in the UK. Meltrek episode 2, Exploring the Pre-Columbian Americas, will be shown at the festival. And then on July the 19th, Meltrek episode 1 will be shown at the Black Film Fest, which will be hosted by the Newark Museum in New Jersey. And so we plan to be up there. I plan to take the whole Ed Anime Productions family to Newark, New Jersey on the 19th. We're going to do a presentation teaching people our process. How did we create Meltrek? So by the time you walk out of our presentation, when you walk away from our presentation, you'll understand our process. So if you want to go home and create your own, animation, you can. And so please come out on July the 19th to support the Ed Anime Productions family. The flyer, I'm going to make sure I post the flyer on my Facebook page, Dr. Oya Pa. So the 17th in the UK, 19th in Newark, New Jersey. And then on July the 29th, we'll be down in Mobile, Alabama. We're going to have a day in the park where we show Meltrek episode 1 and 2. And we are expecting about 700 children. That was the last count that I got from the sisters who were organizing it. So we're going to be doing that on July the 29th in Mobile, Alabama at a park. I forgot the name of the park. So I got to get that information to you as well. So if you're in the Mobile, Alabama area, please join us. And on July the 29th, we'll be at Morning Star Baptist Church here in Baltimore City to show Meltrek episode 2. And so if you are in the area in Baltimore, please come out and join us on July the 21st at Morning Star Baptist Church of Christ. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so you guys hear me? Okay. Just making sure. So are there any other upcoming events that people want to discuss?
No, I'm good.
Nope, thank you.
Okay. Well, moving on. We got some hot topics. I mean, 2 more things I wanted to discuss. I know you guys heard about this controversy going on with Umar Johnson. He was on the Breakfast Club a few days ago discussing interracial marriages. And so people have been attacking him on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, about the interview. And a lot of Black folks are upset at some of his comments. And is anyone aware of what took place, or have you seen the interview?
I saw the interview.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't. What happened?
So let me show you a brief clip. This clip is for this clip is 2 minutes long. Let me show you this really fast. So let me show you this really, really fast. All right, here we go.
When you marry a woman, you just marry her. Marriage is a political decision. Who you marry tells me who you are. When you marry a woman, you just marry her. You marry her culture, you marry her community, you marry her people. You understand? So when a Black man marries a white woman, he's making several clear points and messages he's sending out to his own people. Because there's no greater symbol of your loyalty to your struggle than to marry a sister who shares that struggle.
You're telling me, right? If my son, my Black son,
Yes.
brings home a white girl, because
How old is he?
not for nothing, 13.
Yes.
Not for nothing, we live in an area that is predominantly white.
Okay.
Reason why? The schools,
I got you.
Black safer. So if he brings home a white girl, I should be like, son,
We need to have a
you
conversation.
shouldn't date her, you should date a Black person.
Because you have to teach your son loyalty to his community. European Jews do it. Arabs do it, Chinese do it, we're the only people who feel anxious and ambivalent about telling our Black boys that you better love and marry a Black woman. And you know why we feel ambivalent? Because all of us have been conditioned by church envy to be colorblind. We're constantly told over and over again that it is wrong to be for yourself before you are for anyone else. And that's why Africans are dead last. It's nothing wrong with being loyal to yourself.
There's nothing wrong with being loyal to yourself. But
Yes,
it's also who you love. I can't tell my son who he connects with better.
Can that white woman ever understand your son's struggle? Thank you. So why would you want him to spend the rest of his life with a woman who can never understand how he feels when the New York City Police Department pulls him over? You need a woman who can feel you. And the only woman on earth who can understand the Black man is the Black woman. And that's why I cannot respect a Black man who is not committed to a Black woman. That's the greatest symbol of pride in self.
I agree with you, but I do think people, fall in love with you.
But love is a function of priorities and values.
Yes, and you better never get caught with a white woman.
All right. So Dr. Umar has been attacked for these comments that he made on the Breakfast Club. But to be honest with you, brother Black Panther, Sister Cheryl, Sister Alima, Sister Monica, I didn't see anything wrong with his comments. And the sad part, when I was perusing the comments underneath the interview, it was mostly our people who were attacking him. I read comments by Asians, by Europeans, and they were saying that his comments were dead on. They were saying that, you know, the truth hurts, but they were saying, yes, Black people need to learn to marry within, you know, each other and to love each other. I mean, he was dead on. And so do you guys have anything to say about the comments that he made? Do you support the comments? Do you disagree with the comments?
Right on, Doc.
I agree with you, Dr. Maya. I agree with him too.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, I mean, and it's sad that, I mean, he was attacked by brothers and sisters. They were on the comments going off on you know, Dr. Umar Johnson. Now, granted, he has his issues, but on this, I agree 100% with what he said. That, you know,
because it's the multiculturalists that are attacking him.
Absolutely.
That's all that is.
Absolutely.
It's the people that support integration and multiculturalism, and they live in a fantasy world.
Absolutely.
Great elder Amos Wilson taught us multiculturalism is a new age fantasy. You won't find it in practice, but it exists in people's minds like it's really happening. And it doesn't. We would all like a world where everything is fair and people did mess us over for jobs, excuse me, and everything was fair across the board, and the most qualified got the job, and the most person that could do this, and no racism. We would all love that world.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
And you're right, it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. And that was beautiful. That was beautifully put.
To our environmental pressures, to our social pressures, to things that are going on in the real world, in this war that we have been in. You damn right. You only need to be marrying a sister.
Come on.
Because these other people out here treat you bad, talk bad about you, switch up on you, no matter how much they smile in your face. We are in combat here.
Oh yeah.
Look going around, and you want to tell me to go not only sleep with, but procreate with the enemy?
With the enemy.
The people that are killing our children? Are you crazy?
That's right. That's right. And I had a cousin who got upset when I sent him the clip last night. Well, he just recently had a baby by a Filipino girl, and he was upset when I sent him the clip. I purposely did it, by the way. And he called me last night. But he called me last night, Black Panther, and he said, "I cannot believe you sent that to me. I totally disagree with what he said." And I said, "Of course you disagree with what he said, because you laying in bed with this Filipino chick."
Exactly.
Well, you know, so he was upset with what Dr. Umar Johnson said, and he was saying, well, what if, you know, you were a Black person who was raised in an environment that was predominantly white? You know,
excuse time and time again.
Yes, that's what he said. Sis, he said, you know, well, what if, you know, I was raised in, you know, an environment that was predominantly white, and I developed a natural attraction towards, you know, white people. And I was telling him that even if we were to raise our children in predominantly white neighborhoods, which I would never suggest or do, I would still instill in them that I want them to bring home a Black girl. Hell, exactly. I live in a predominantly neighborhood now, and my sons will get on the show and tell you that I tell them to bring me home a Black woman, not a mixed woman, a Black woman, not a Hispanic woman, a Black woman. I need you to bring me home a sister. And they've been dating sisters. You know, they had a great track record right now. So,
the thing is,
I'm happy and grateful for that.
Sis, the thing is that everything that Dr. Umar said is true. And what brothers need to understand about white women is the way that they're raised. And they're not raised to go after love. They're raised to go after financial stability.
That's right.
When they date, most of the time, I ain't talking about them sloppy white women who date whoever. I'm talking about the ones that really do date brothers and have it together because he has some type of financial stability. This is why they get married. White people do not get married for love. They just don't. That's not on average. So if a white chick wants a black man, you better believe it's because you can take care of her. But when it comes to a sister, we can work with you. We can build together. We don't have to be with a brother that has it all together, because that's not how we were raised. We're not the same. We're just two different people.
Absolutely. And I feel Dr. Umar Johnson when he said that the black woman is the only one that could feel his pain, his plight.
That's right.
You know, and really feel him. And that's, you know, I think that these non-black females, they may be able to sympathize, but they can never feel what he's feeling or what he's going through. They can only,
But you know, my thing is, and you get that a lot when people say, oh, I'm dating a white guy, I'm doing this, I'm dating a white female. Well, I was naturally attracted to her. How could you naturally be attracted to the enemy, to someone that is systematically breaking you down? It's something going on in your psyche when you say, I'm naturally attracted to them. It's something terribly wrong. You know, so in essence, you have a death wish, because you're going over there and you're saying, this is who I want to be with, and I'm naturally attracted to them. Even in the animal kingdom, they have sense enough not to procreate with something out of their species. But we just don't get that. You're not going to see a dog walking around here humping on a cat. You're just not going to see it. But we systematically, you know, we have this thing within us that we hate ourselves so much that we'll reach out and be with the enemy. That is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Absolutely. So the brother's under attack. I was going to put up a little Facebook post with the clip just saying that he has my full support on this. And again, like I say, Dr. Umar has his, you know, he has his issues. He is who he is.
Everybody does.
Yeah, and everybody does. Everybody has their issues and their, you know, idiosyncrasies. But, you know, on this, he has my support 100%. But moving on to the last hot topic, I wouldn't say that it's hot, but there was a sister, another child that was murdered a few days ago, well, last Wednesday, so almost a week ago. An 18-year-old girl by the name of Bianca Nicole Roberson was murdered by a European male. His name is David Desper, over a road rage incident. And I want to just show you guys this clip really briefly, and then we're going to get into the topic at hand. But this hurt me to my heart. I reached out to the father, and I'm waiting to hear back from him. I know that the funeral arrangements have been made for the young sister in PA, and I'm trying to get a hold of the father and get the arrangements so I can make my way up there to show support. But here's a clip from the Advise show. The brother reported on it, I think, a few days ago. But here's a clip.
Finding David Desper had become the top priority. West Goshen Township Police, Chester County officials, they were using every resource, including the help of the public. A resource we're being told today was invaluable.
The use of social media in both directions, both in us getting information out and receiving information. We received hundreds, if not thousands, of tips.
And police say they're still looking for help.
Anybody with information as far as his habits, where he worked.
The crime he's now accused of is described by Chester County DA Tom Hogan as savage. That he shot and killed 18-year-old Bianca Roberson from his red pickup truck.
As Bianca was merging down from 2 lanes to 1, there was a man in a red pickup truck also merging down, and they jockeyed for position, and he wasn't happy. So he pulled out a gun and shot Bianca in the head.
Roberson's brother spoke to us about his arrest.
I thought that I would feel a relief or, you know, excited and happy. I mean, I was happy, but then I started to feel down.
At this point, not much is known about the 28-year-old from Trainer. Hogan says he worked as a well and pipe driller for local businesses. And this is Desper's home. The grass here overgrowing the mailbox. Some of the windows have been sealed up with cinder blocks and cement. Window panes on one of the doors also shattered. We know his pickup was found outside this home on Huntington Farm Drive in Glen Mills. No word on the connection. We also spoke with Desper's attorney, Dan McGarrigle. He says Desper came to his office to turn himself in. Investigators say the pressure coming down from social media and the public outcry
likely pushed us to do so. When we went to houses to ask questions, they knew why we were there. They were very willing to help.
Now, I had a chance.
Okay. All right, family. So I'm not sure if you guys heard about this incident. I posted on Facebook yesterday, and again, I reached out to her dad, and I'm waiting to hear back from him regarding the funeral arrangements. But I have to be honest with you, family. I am so tired of this narrative, our men, our women, and our children being murdered by the beast. And I'm at a point, and maybe I shouldn't say this on air, but we need to. I'm not even going to talk. I don't want to say what I really want to say.
We know, sis.
Yeah,
I already know.
Yeah, so I don't even, without saying it, you already know where I'm at. I'm tired of this narrative. I've pulled out my book yesterday, 100 Years of Lynching, and I showed it to my son, and I was telling him that, they've been doing this to us since we've been here, even before we came here. And I'm just at a point where I'm asking, when is when? When is when? And I keep on encouraging my brothers. I say our brothers have to step up. They have to unite. They have to get weaponry. And, and then we got to make some examples out of some folks because they don't fear us. They don't fear us. So that's why they come into our communities and abuse us and murder us, because they know they can do it without retribution. And so I'm just at a point where, when is when? Obviously Trayvon Martin wasn't enough. You got the guy Zimmerman going to bars, bragging about killing him. And then the parents were on TV saying that we have to forgive him. And then you got, you had Oscar Grant, you had Jordan Davis, you got Alton Sterling and Walter Scott and Philando Castile. I just, I'm asking, when is when? When is when? When will black people get sick and tired of being sick and tired? And so, I don't know if I want to continue to elaborate anymore because I don't want words that I say be used against me.
Exactly, sis.
So have you guys heard of it, Black Brother?
I definitely heard of the incident. In my mind, although of course we see that it's black and white, I don't want that to get overclouded. I'm just really hoping that it just seems like a clear-cut case to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's no justification in what he did. So I'm just really hoping that for once that the law works in their favor. But I mean, it'll never bring their baby back. And I just think it's really disgusting. It really is. I'm lost for words, to be honest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't imagine getting that call. Harvey is 18. And so when I was reading the article and he said she's an 18-year-old, I said, oh my goodness, I can't imagine road rage incident. And, Harvey's driving now, he has his little car. And I just can't imagine getting a call, that something like that happened to him because he merged into traffic and the person didn't like it. And so they pull out a gun and fire into his vehicle, killing him, So it really hit home for me. It really hit home for me. But let's get to the topic at hand. Should Black people celebrate European holidays? I would say no. Let's go down the panel. No. Sister Monica, Sister Alima, Sister Cheryl, Brother Black Panther.
Of course, I would say no.
Negative.
Negative.
I battled with the not because of what it stands for, but the 4th of July, but because I was a soldier and in combat. So I got that emotional point when the Star Spangled Banner played, even though I knew what it stands for. It's just by being I'm in the uniform and being in the combat zone, and so it was like a whole nother space. But then, and I still battle a little bit, to be honest with you, just because of what I what I stood for. So I mean, prior to really getting into of knowing into who, what, when, and why. So, I made this comment before on somebody else's show, and I was like, I'm not gonna sit in front as if I have always been in this state or this position or this understanding, because I still battle it. When I'm amongst the soldiers, I'm in uniform, I'm in a whole nother space with it. because of, peers who have battled and, family members who fought in certain wars and things like that from that position there. But, I truly understand why we shouldn't.
Absolutely. And I can kind of understand where you're coming from because, I served 8 years from 1998 to 2006, signed a 6-1-2 contract and worked as a reserve, served as a reservist for 8 years. So I did my 1 week in a month and my 2 weeks out of the year, my AT. And so I do understand what you mean. I had a father who served in Nam, had friends who served in Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and then, had friends who participated in the war in Iraq. And so I get what you're saying, sis. But, like you said, once you get into the history and understanding the root of the holiday, why we celebrate it, we know that it didn't involve us. It had nothing to do with us. July the 4th has nothing to do with us, as with many other holidays. And so, on Facebook yesterday, I said, these are not our ancestors. So why are we celebrating them and their achievements and their, monumental things to them? Why are we celebrating them? Because that's who we're celebrating. We're celebrating our oppressors and their ancestors. And so I believe that that's definitely a danger to African people. So, Brother Black Panther, please, I would love for you to get into your presentation and go in and discuss, the African holidays. But I think that we should be venerating our ancestors and their accomplishments and achievements and, in monumental events. So if you could lead us all, Black Panther, with the discussion, that would be great.
All right. Before I get into the discussion, let me just touch on the question. Not no, but hell no. No, we shouldn't be celebrating these foreign holidays for Black people. And to just touch on what you and Sister Monica says, everybody knows by now that I was in the military, in the U.S. Army, active duty for 4 years, served in Iraq and Afghanistan. And this day has no effect on me whatsoever because this day isn't about the people I served with. July 4th is not about the comrades I served with, the people I had fun with. It's not even about the people that died. If you really think about it, it's not even a military holiday. It's about a country getting independence from another country. It has nothing to do with us as a soldier. Now, many people like to take those time to thank us for freedoms and blah, 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 blah. But if you really study history, it has really nothing to do with us veterans that served in any armed forces. It has to do with the British and Americas and the issues they had and them finally breaking away and saying we're our own country and we have our independence. That's great for them. But that is a luxury that has never been offered or ever been achieved by African people in America. So I give the middle finger to this day, just like I give a middle finger to all the other holidays that they try to force you to celebrate. Ain't that somehow they try to force you to celebrate holidays in America? You can't get a chicken sandwich. You can't nothing. They shut down everything they can and force you to celebrate. Well, that's another topic. Why? I came up with that presentation that you were discussing earlier, Dr. Maat, because I know people that are conflicted. They have children. They say, well, I don't want to take my children's days. I don't want to take their innocence. I have nothing to replace it with. And, they just feel lost and confused around these days. They know the history of these days, but they just have that sense of, I don't have nothing else. So this is what it's got to be. So my mission statement upon doing this research was to tackle this, because too often Africans in America are faced with the decision of holiday participation, whether it be, you know, being around family, or, you know, the food or social gathering with people that they love. It can be a very tumultuous time for the conscious African in America. So I took it upon myself to inform Africans in America that there is no need to feel bad or keep your children and yourself away from these holidays. There is also no reason to create any new days. We just have to celebrate the traditional days that our ancestors have celebrated for thousands of years. That is our culture. Now, when you talk about the word culture, culture is the arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded collectively. That collectively is the operative word, because collectively denotes a civilization. Mm. Collectively denotes more than just yourself. You have to do this collectively. You start a day in your community and it branches out to the entire community, and pretty soon everyone is celebrating this day. This is how these big days in Africa get started. The Awukudae Festival, the Gelede Festival. All of these different days started very small. But the more you get the community involved, you create something that's worth something. This is how everything works. Now with culture, culture is a very powerful thing because it's your fence against white supremacy. When you operate in your culture, white people get nervous. Mm-hmm. They always want to see what you're doing when you're not doing what they taught you to do. For instance, if you were at your job at a Christmas party and you said, you know, I don't want to participate in the festivities, they're all going to look at you funny. It's not really about the day. It's about that you're acting out of the programming they instilled in you. You're acting in your culture. When you distort someone's culture, you distort their ability to process information. You process your information in accordance with the rules and values and social laws of your culture. Once you remove that, you create this gap for foreign entities to come in. Now, it's no secret that this was taught to us, so there's no need to feel bad about it. It's just now that you know, you have to correct it. Because manhood and womanhood is an expression of culture. And the way we celebrate our holy days is an expression of our culture. Mm-hmm. So they're associated with celebrating these European holidays, which are, if you do the history, mostly holidays for the African, is that, number one, you're not celebrating your ancestors. Number two, you're operating in a European paradigm. And number three, you're teaching your children to repeat the same cycle that you're doing. So you're affecting generations down the line, because what are they going to teach their children? Same thing. And so on and so forth. You have to end the cycle. There's no need for you to feel upset and angry and not do anything about it. Mm-hmm. Lots of people don't want to celebrate Thanksgiving. Ask the average black person, why do you celebrate Thanksgiving? They're going to say, well, you know, I just like to be around my family. I don't really agree with what they did to those Native Americans. Then why are you celebrating it? Exactly. Programming is a very powerful thing, but you can reprogram your family in your culture. You were going to say something, Dr. Maya?
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut your wisdom. I was just agreeing with you. I was just getting ready to just reiterate that that's always the excuse. Well, I just want to be, you know, with my family. Your wife and I were talking on the telephone today, and we were talking about the 4th of July and how our people will say, well, I don't agree with the 4th of July, but I just enjoy, you know, the cookouts. I enjoy going to see the fireworks. You know, maybe I enjoy, you know, putting on the costumes. So they say that they don't agree with it, but yet they still feel the need to participate in it or be a part of it. And so, like you said, that's always the excuse. Well, it's my family, or it's fun. It's either family or fun that they think that they're missing out on if they don't participate in these holidays.
That's fine because we have our own days of family and fun in numerous African traditions. So I'm going to name some days today that you can substitute, and maybe on the July 4th or some of these other holidays, you can celebrate these days instead and have your family and your fun. My family, no. Don't call me on Thanksgiving.
Right.
Don't call me on Christmas, wishing me a merry and happy and all. They know. I'm not with it. At some point, we got to be disciplined enough for our children. It ain't about fun and eating and all. It's got to be for our children because we have to end this cycle. It shouldn't be 300 years down the line that Black folks still celebrate Christmas. It just shouldn't be.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
At some point, we're going to have to make sacrifices for the survival of the African consciousness. And if you're not willing to do that, then you just need to get out the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So the first day I want to talk about is called the Gelede Festival. It's a festival that's celebrated several times a year, which means you can substitute this in a day that you don't like. The Gelede Festival is a festival celebrated by the Fan people of Dahomey and the Yoruba people of Nigeria, as well as the South people in Benin. It's dedicated to Mother Earth. It is celebrated by the whole community to promote fertility of both the people and the soil. There are several masks in these celebrations. Each mask is sculpted and represents a different character, but only the initiates know the true nature and the secret of those symbolic characters. The masks are brightly painted and move like puppets, linking myths and moral stories through time. That's important right there. They said it links myths and moral stories through time. So we have to understand that every holiday has its stories, has its legend. You'll hear legends about July 4th, how they gained their independence, how they rose up and conquered. Well, we got our own legends that need to be taught to our children. We got our own festivals and our own stories and mythologies that teach our morals and our values. So this ain't just about presents and gift giving. This is about teaching morals and instilling values, African morals and values. This is where the rubber meets the road.
That's right.
This is where you receive instruction via rituals. This is how you build a nation. This is nation building. It goes on to say, they're both educational and hilarious. The delighted crowd will laugh and clap their hands and watch with appreciation. It is a fascinating mix of street theater and magical theater. The Gelede Mass Festival of the Yoruba people is prominent in a city called Cove. It is a performance in the honor of the dangerous and creative powers of women, elders attempting to irrigate with Inla, the first female of the Yoruba universe. It relays virtues and responsibilities to the society, advocating a particularly respect for motherhood. This is Mother's Day.
Mm. Mm.
Now, we have Mother's Day in America, but they don't reinstill all of that. You just buy your mother a card and call her, and you just kind of keep moving. No. This day, we celebrate not only just your mother, but all mothers. All mothers in the African village, they're treated like queens all day long.
Mm.
They have people waiting at their feet. They have colorful masks that they wear to honor. They bring them gifts. They honor that life that just brought them here. Now that's a day that we can incorporate and substitute for Mother's Day in Western society because it's the same concept, but we just gonna do it a little bit more for Mama. We just gonna make it, as the kids say, a little bit more lit for Mama. This is a day that you can incorporate in your house. Another day that I want to talk about is the Egungun Festival. Now, this is usually celebrated between October 25th and like November 7th. Egunguns, first of all, let me cover what an Egungun is. An Egungun is a distinguished ancestor, someone that has done great work on earth and elevated to the rank of the Egungun. So the Egungun masks represent the spirits of the deceased, and according to the locals, they are the revered deceased. The men wearing the mask representing the Egungun are initiates of the Egungun priesthood, dressed brightly in multicolored clothing. They emerge from the forest in the form of a procession through the streets of the village, leaping towards any foolish spectator that dares to get too close. You do not want the Egungun to touch you because if he does, there is a danger involved. So people touched by the Egungun collapse and salute him immediately. When they arrive, the masks perform a kind of bullfight, which is designed to scare the crowd, but also create great laughter. The festival is known as Odun Egungun and is a family ritual and custom. So this is something that we do, but we don't realize how big it is that we do. You go to people's houses and you'll see these great family photos, and they're always in this one particular area. And they say, hey, these are all my great ancestors. That's Big Mama, that's Pops, that's this, that's that. And people don't even realize that they have shrines in their house, and they haven't figured this out yet because they're not in tune with their culture. You'll usually see a candle by these rooms, and you're like, you know, you have a shrine in your house, right? And they're like, no, this is just pictures of my family. That's all it is. That's all Egungun shrines are. You're celebrating this day, and you don't even realize you celebrate it. So why not make it just an elaborate celebration? Bring out those photo albums. Tell stories and laugh with your loved ones about, you know, how mama got on you that time, or how father did this, or how uncle did that. We do it anyway. We call it family reunions. But in Africa, this is a sacred day. So the next time you have a family reunion, suggest, hey, I want to do things a little bit different this year, and bring out all those family photos. Have some music, some dancing. You're celebrating your distinguished ancestors that way. That's what we do as African people. Another festival is called the Awan Festival. And the Awan Festival is celebrated for the purpose to recharge the spirit of the African and to pay homage to a spirit called Babaluaye, which is a Orisha of disease and healing. So we pay homage to him so we can have Ashe Are, good health is done. It's done usually the very last day of December, but you can do it from December 24th up into there. It's the way to honor the winter solstice as well. And its origin is linked to the West African deity Babaluaye between the Ewe, Fan, and Yoruba people. Now, this festival here is the African version of New Year's. We often use New Year's to put out resolutions. Oh, this year I'm gonna lose weight. Oh, this year I'm gonna take up a cooking class. This year I'm not gonna be so negative. Well, we use those slogans and those New Year's resolutions to recharge our spirit, to give us hope to be a better person in the new year. This is what the Awan Festival is about. Repledging yourself to your African expression. Thanking the deities for getting you this far and saying, you know what, I'm going to do better in 2018. See, this is what I meant in the beginning about you do not have to recreate days. You just have to know that some of these days are African and apply the African traditions to the days you already revere. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. Africans invented the wheel. We just got to make it turn in the direction we want it to go. Another day is the Olokun Festival. Now, if you're not familiar with who Olokun is an Orisha of the Edo and the Yoruba pantheon. It's associated with the vast deep sea and the wetlands. And he is known as the protector of the African diaspora. See, many people didn't even know that. We have a deity assigned to us Africans in America. Now, why would they name Olokun as the protector of the African diaspora? Because how did we get to the diaspora? Through the sea. Therefore, he is the protector of the people that pass through his waters. Now, you'll find him in Benin, Togo, Edo State, Yoruba land, Ile-Ife, and Olokun is considered the protectors of those who came through the transatlantic slave trade. This annual festival is celebrated by many of the people in the West African region. So this day is usually celebrated on February 26th. It's usually a 14-day celebration. During the festival, devotees visit the shrines and they wear colors of deep blue and white. And you'll see numbers like the number 7, drums, rhythm, dancing, and many offering for prayers. So this day is kind of like our Memorial Day because you're honoring the people that didn't make it here on that boat, that was thrown overboard, that was cast away, that was, didn't make the trip. And you're honoring the spirits of those ancestors that existed in that time. Most of us got here on a boat. So not only do we honor Olokun, we honor the fact that we survived and we repledge our spirit to getting free. This is something that you can introduce in your house. This is African tradition. If your kids do not know about the horrors of the Ma'afa or the transatlantic slave trade, this is a great holiday to introduce them to that. This is how you get your kids involved in the culture, showing them what happened to us as Africans. We can't hide these things from our children. It's just something we can't afford to do. Unfortunately, due to the way society is today, the harsh realities are going to hit their front door earlier than a child should know about them. We have to have them prepared. That's our responsibility as parents. And this is a day that can be a tool that you can help with that. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. This day is found in Kemet. It's called Tepi Renip. And it falls on different days, but usually celebrated between July and August. Now, for the Remich, or people of Kemet, this is their new year. So if you didn't like the first version I did of the new year, maybe you'll like this one. This is the day where the Sabu Septa, also known as Series B, rises in the east in Kemet. This event you'll find foretold about on the ivory tablet of Shosher, who was the third king or Nisut Bitsi of Kemet in the first dynasty. So a lot of cultures revere Sirius B. You have Dogons, you have Senegambians, you have Kemet. It's like the telling of the new year, telling of the coming of the harvest, lots of things. So if you have a child or someone in the house that's interested in stargazing and science and technology, you can use this day to not only watch the stars, get you a telescope, but to tell a story about how your ancient ancestors were astronomers. how they use these stars for different things. This is a day you can teach and a day that you can learn something. Assign some tasks to your children to have them research some different stars, and you can go out with your telescope and talk about it. This is African tradition. It's not hard. It's just that we have to reintroduce these days, these type of days, to our families. The next day I want to talk about is called the Said Festival. And this was celebrated in Kemet and is celebrated for the continued rule of a Nasut Biti, or a king. Despite the antiquity of the Said Festival and hundreds of references to it throughout the history of ancient Egypt, the most detailed records of the ceremony are a part of the reign of Amenhotep III during the 18th dynasty. They also come mostly from relief cycles of the 5th dynasty of Nasut Nusara in his Sum Temple of Abu Ghorab of Akhenaten at East Karnak, also known as Ipatasut, and the relief cycles of the 22nd dynasty king Nisut Oso Koran II. There was a physical fitness challenge involved with this holiday, where Nisut would run what they call as the headset. Now, the headset is like a track, a modern day track, and the king would have to finish it in a certain time. So this is our Father's Day. He is the king. We honor him. And he still proves to us that he still got the muscle and the everything that we revere to him, so he can continue to rule. In the family, the king, being the male, has to exhibit those features as well. That he can still got it. He can still rule. Yeah, Dad just beat me in basketball again. Man, he still got it. We do these same things in our families. So come up with a physical fitness challenge. It don't have to be a run. It could be, baseball, football, whatever. This could be a family tradition where every year he still got to prove it, because one of these years he gonna fall. That's just what it is. It happened in Kemet. It's gonna happen in your family. One of these years, the king of your household is gonna lose, and that's when the new king of your house starts to arise. Your son. So this can be an annual activity to promote father and son activities. The other festival that's related to mask is called the Baba. The Baba Festival is a festival in which the Ba wooden masks are represented and related to myths of their families and clans. Some masks represent animals, other represents different spirits. They have what's called the days of the dance. Everybody in the compound sweep their courtyard and do the rest of the clearing duties to put on their best traditional outfits for the ceremony. Then in the middle of the village, people get impatient. The masks are coming. It is the event, so they're building anticipation. The masks represent the spirits of the village, which guide the life of human beings and Mother Nature. The spirits arrive in the shape of wooden owls, butterflies and antelopes, buffaloes and hyenas. The movements are fast. Following the rhythm of the drums, accompanied by flutes, the audience participates to the ceremony with their songs, comments, and laughs. It is a form of street theater that puts together a sacred ancestral tradition and cheerful entertainment. Now, what I didn't say is this festival usually takes place in the spring. This spring, in African tradition, they celebrate that. They do this festival every 2 years in a city called Degodu. Now, this festival is very large. It's attended by 40 villages by their own group of masks. So it's a creative thing. It's a competition. You know, who has the best mask? For days, the people dance in the mask for hours. There's also the market of the communities, as well as the cabaret nights when various griots or storytellers are in competition to reveal their own talent. So you can make this event a part of your spring cleaning, a part of your spring break. Don't just send your kids away and to some camp and you don't know what's going on, or some camp where you know they really don't want to go to. Make this event in your house. And it doesn't even have to be mask. Come up with something that the kids can create and make kind of a competition out of it. And you know, we always going to have music and dancing and drumming because that's just what Africans do. But come up with something like this, and you can replace this for a day, like, I don't know, St. Patrick's Day or something, a day that don't have nothing to do with us. We can do that instead of that day. Another day that I researched, and this day really taught me that African traditions views colors in different times and spaces. So this day is called the Kuntunkuni Festival, and it's a special festival where everybody wears black. Now I know, people say, well, why are they wearing all black? Is it a funeral? No, it's not a funeral. It's a solemn occasion where the king has to deliver a very important message. This takes place in Ghana, particularly the Ashanti region. More than 200 kings come out to the occasion, and they come from different regions, and they come down to listen to the message of the king. So if you have something very important to tell your family, and let's say you're an elder of your family and you have something very important, try this way. This way could be a way to get your family together. Some families have issues not being able to get together for whatever reason. This is a way that you can have your family in solidarity. It doesn't have to be black. Tell them to pick a color, and everybody comes in that color. You will be surprised what uniformity does. Uniformity gives people purpose. It instills pride, family pride. And you can come together and deliver your important message, and before long, your family will enjoy being around each other again. So if you don't want to wear black, you can pick a color. This next festival is called the Awukudae ceremony, and it literally means Wednesday ceremony. So you can pick any Wednesday you want to do this. It is celebrated around traditional chiefs in order to benefit from the constant protection of the guardian spirits of the tribe, and also to strengthen unity between the people and the chief. The people kneeling down to pray and pay their respects to the chiefs is also a unique opportunity to attend a highly colorful royal ceremony, enjoying the sights and sounds of the great drums giving rhythm to the strongest moments of this ancestral memory. Now, I know by now you can be like, man, Africans really honor their ancestors. Yes, we do. That's what Africans do. That old saying of people never die as long as you keep their memory alive, that's African tradition. And you can do this on any Wednesday you would like. So another day, and this is probably the last day that I can think of right now, would be a day that I went to this year called the Akomalu Festival. And the Akomalu Festival, Akomalu means bull. And it's a festival that represents ancestral veneration as well. And it's a festival to where, if you miss your loved ones, they do a ceremony to honor all the loved ones that, you know, you tell them the names, and they honor them in song and dance and in ritual. It's a very emotional festival because people get closure. People they shed tears. They dance. They do a lot of different things. But it's a way that, you know, you can get some type of closure to an event. You know, some of our loved ones die in unfortunate ways. This event is designed to bring those people up and venerate them, because we all have someone that we've lost. Well, this is a way that we sing and dance and pray over, you know, their energy. Science says energy can't be created nor destroyed. So in African tradition, we believe that energy does go somewhere. So we pray for that energy. We tell that energy we miss that, we miss it. We invite that energy to come back to this plane, and we honor it with dancing and food and music and things of that nature. So these are just some of the days. There are more, but these are just some that I found that you can introduce to your family, that you can introduce to your community. Some of these days you'll see in your community, depending on where you live, by different Buddhan temples, Ifa temples, Akan temples, so on and so forth. These days do happen right here in America, and you can go and check them out. If you would like to check out the Egungun Festival, I believe my Ifa temple is going to have it either at the end of October or the beginning of November. I'm not sure as of yet, but as the date draws closer, I have more information. But that is one of the best chances you'll get, especially if you live in the South, to see pure African culture at its finest. So if there are any questions, I'll answer any questions. And those are my suggestions.
Well, Brother Black Panther, I wanna before we even get into questions, I want to thank you for that wonderful, wonderful, wonderful presentation. I see people in the chat room. Sister Cachette Ivy, she said this is a wonderful presentation. Then you had Brother Mac Tip, he said Black Panther's going in. Brother, that was an excellent presentation, and I'm so happy that I had the privilege of seeing you present that live in place last year. And I think you probably added some to your list since then. But that was a wonderful presentation, very informative, and I want to thank you for giving us, you know, your time, because I know you're working right now, and so I thank you, Brother Black Panther, for coming on and giving us that information. There were brothers and sisters in the chat room trying to catch the names, all of the names of the holidays that you provided us. Is it any way that you can inbox me just a list of the names you went over so that I could add them to the description box, so I could add them to the description box for this video?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, cool. So what I'll do is, because there was a sister in the chat room, Sister Mon Shell. I think I'm pronouncing her name right. Let me go back to the chat room and check it out. But I think her name is Sister Mon Rochelle, Sister Rochelle Cody. She asked for the names of some of the holidays. So I told her that we would just put them in the description box under the video after you finish up. And so, sisters, do you guys have any questions?
No, phenomenal job, Black Panther. I always like to hear Black Panther give his presentations because he's very thorough. So,
appreciate it.
Yeah, unusual.
Well, I had the pleasure of seeing it live too. So, and I'm his wife. So, great job, of course, love.
I just wanted to say thank you for that awesome presentation, and I do look forward to getting that list. And as I was talking to Dr. Mayat about on the sideline, like, I know one of the main reasons, again, why I stopped with the holidays was because I don't think people understand that these holidays is a way to steal your energy. When you have a group of people celebrating and giving energy to this idea that doesn't serve them, that's what you're actually manifesting, because thoughts and, you know, thoughts become things. And so even with, and I forgot what he said about with the ancestors. And I think that's so important, because even in our work, I've been drawn to go to like the cotton fields of South Carolina and Georgia and Tennessee, because there's a lot of ancestors here who did not get a chance to peacefully pass to the other side. And for us as their descendants, that's important for us to help them, you know, in that journey. At least that's my belief. You know what I'm saying? So when we understand like what these holidays are, they're actually rituals. So if you and your community and thousands of other communities across the nation are collectively given energy to this, you know, it definitely contributes to our upliftment overall. So job well done, bro. Thank you.
Absolutely.
No problem. No problem.
Absolutely. Sister Cheryl, do you have any words, Sister Cheryl? All right, Sister Cheryl got out of there. Sister Cheryl muted the mic and got out of there. But yeah, that was a wonderful presentation. And I was just, when you were going through the holidays, I said, wow, like you said, they have their version of Mother's Day, their version of Father's Day, their version of ancestral veneration. So we do not have to, now that you've heard, and I'm talking to the listening audience right now, now that you've heard that, you need to be held accountable. You no longer have to, you get what I'm saying, Sister Riziki? A lot of people will say, well, I don't know what other holidays, you know, to celebrate, but now you know.
Exactly.
But now you know. So now you have alternatives. So now you know you don't have to participate in Mother's Day or Father's Day, because he had these festivals that he's named. And I love how Black Panther, not only did he describe the holidays, but then he told us when we should celebrate them. Like, okay, you can celebrate it in the fall, you can celebrate it every day, you can celebrate it in July. So he gave some powerful information, and he's right. We are African.
Any of them coincide. If you notice, a lot of the festivals, the African festivals, the timing is coincidental because it coincides with a lot of the European.
I was just about to get on that, Sister.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And even still, a lot of these holy days has astronomical relevance. Like I didn't get into the whole July 4th yesterday because, you know, I'm so past trying to educate people on what, you know, what it's for. And, you know, even in the research, when I'm finding out, like Brother Panther was talking about, well, I don't know if he mentioned this part, but he mentioned most of it, like June 24th through July 4th was a very important, like, summer solstice kind of energy in ancient Kemet. And even like he was talking about Sirius and Sun, July 4th through 7th, you know, and July 4th represents, you know, that the whole fireworks and stuff. So they steal what we have, and it does have astronomical relevance. Even Christmas with December 25th, you know, with the whole, what is it? The sun stays in one place for 3 days and then rises again on the 25th. So again, it's all about vampiring our energy, man. Like, it's crazy. Oh my goodness. I gotta go again, y'all. This is Donna. But thank you, bro. Beautiful presentation.
I come back in when you can, sis. But yeah, but we have to learn how to celebrate ourselves. I wanted to read something from Breaking the Chains of Psychological Slavery by Dr. Naeem Akbar. He has a section or chapter in his book called Liberation from Mental Slavery. Liberation from Mental Slavery. And in this chapter, let me see. Yes, Liberation from Mental Slavery. So in this chapter, he's talking about celebration. I'm on page 36 for those who have it or for those who plan on getting it. He talks about the importance of celebrating your ancestors, celebrating yourselves, and the danger of celebrating someone else. So I want to, if you could bear with me, I would like to read, it's small pages, but it's like 2 pages, 2.5 pages. I would like to read. He said, we must learn to comfortably celebrate ourselves. Self-celebration does not necessitate the degradation of others. It does unapologetically sing the greatness of our accomplishments and special blessings to the world. It tells each new generation something about the value of the fabric from which they are made. Cultures and institutions put considerable resources into creating images and opportunities to sing the praises of their accomplishments. This process is an essential part of maintaining a free mind, but it becomes even more fundamental in freeing a captive mind. Certainly, one of the major strategies for enslaving the mind was the degradation of the Black African self. The story of natural Black inferiority and ugliness were constant stories told to destroy the worth of the Black mind. The fantasies of African backwardness and as incapable of technological development and characterized by superstitious and humanely regressive acts of cannibalism and savagery were all constructed in Tarzan stories, Little Black Songbow images, and thousands of other derogatory ideas and illustrations to destroy the Black person's self-image, to further the idea of Black incompetence and deficiency. Celebration then becomes healing. If Europeans could comfortably identify themselves with every image from Santa Claus to the Son of God in order to celebrate who they are, why shouldn't we find images, both real and imagined, that communicate to Black African people something about our potential greatness? Perhaps Kwanzaa is not an actual African holiday, but why shouldn't we have a week-long celebration that brings pride and dignity to our culture? Why shouldn't the entire nation stop on the second Monday in January to celebrate the battle for human dignity by Martin Luther King? If Black people decide to call an assembly of 1 million Black men in Washington, D.C. on Monday in October 1995, then why question the celebration, since the very structure of the city, D.C., so emphatically celebrates the greatness of European American accomplishments? So he goes on to say, we must unashamedly display our images in great ancestral figures throughout our environments, from pictures on the walls to statues in the park and street names. We should celebrate our heritage and those people who have distinguished themselves as African people of greatness. We should have more than one street named for an African American person, particularly in communities where we live. We should immortalize our great builders, thinkers, and warriors by constructing their images and placing their pictures systematically throughout our communities. And then he started going into church. He said our churches should show pictures of great women and men of faith who endured to make a way for young Black people who had not been born yet. So then he starts talking about the Bible and church. And he says, if we must have a Santa Claus entering our homes on Christmas Eve and occupying our malls from early November until December the 24th, then make sure that your Black child has a fantasy of a Black Santa Claus who comes with goodies and good cheer from Black hands and hearts. The mythology of the culture must celebrate ourselves, as do the facts of the culture. The persuasion for this argument is demonstrated by looking around the world in any culture where people's minds are free and they engage in self-determined action. You will find that they comfortably celebrate themselves in hundreds of ways. So then he mentions family reunions, just like Brother Black Panther mentions family reunions. He mentioned family reunions, he mentioned Black History Month. And then he ends by saying it is through self-celebration that we heal our damaged self-esteem. Yes, feeling good about oneself is a legitimate activity of cultures. In fact, any culture which does not make itself inherent feel good about themselves is a failure as a culture. It is through the energy of self-worth that humans are motivated to improve and perpetuate themselves. The greatness of human accomplishments in architecture, science, poetry, art, industry, or any other human endeavor has been fueled by the octane of self-worth and a positive self-esteem. In the same vein, the low point of human degradation and even human self-destruction, both personally and collectively, is a consequence of the absence of self-esteem, which demoralizes the very human spirit. To free ourselves, we must comfortably celebrate ourselves. So this is from the Breaking the Chains of Psychological Slavery. So there is danger in celebrating European holidays because you're not celebrating yourself, you're celebrating them. And so celebrating someone outside of self is a denigration to self. And that is exactly what the elder Dr. Naeem Akbar is talking about in this particular chapter of breaking the chains of psychological slavery. I also wanted to read an excerpt from Frederick Douglass' book, Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave, written by himself. On page 86 through 87, he talks about holidays. And he says that the days between Christmas and New Year's Day are allowed as holidays, and accordingly, we were not required to perform any labor more than to feed and take care of the stock. This time we regard it as our own by the grace of our masters. He said that these holidays serve as conductors or safety valves to carry off the rebellious spirit of enslaved humanity. So this is what the holidays, these are what European holidays signified to our ancestors. They said that holidays are part and parcel of the gross fraud, wrong, and inhumanity of slavery. They are professedly a custom established by the benevolence of the slave holders. So he said, thus when the slave asks for virtuous freedom, the cunning slaveholder, knowing his ignorance, feeds him with a dose of vicious dissipation, awfully labeled with the name of liberty. So check out Narrative of a Slave by Frederick Douglass, because he goes in on what the holidays meant to them. And I want to end by sharing this clip. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's been on YouTube for quite some time now. And this is regarding the 4th of July. Have anyone seen this clip of James Earl Jones reading what Frederick Douglass said about the 4th of July and how that damages the self-esteem of the Negro? Is anyone familiar with this?
I've seen it.
No.
Saw it a couple years ago.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to play it for a little bit, just to show you that, you know, these aren't our holidays, and our ancestors have clearly said it in autobiographies and writings. These aren't our holidays. And when we continue to celebrate them, to me, it's like an insult to our ancestors. You know what I mean? And it's like you're denigrating yourself by celebrating someone outside of yourself. Can you guys see my screen?
Once a slave,
yes,
became
yes.
All right.
Douglass.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Once a slave, became a brilliant and powerful leader of the anti-slavery movement. In 1852, he was asked to speak in celebration of the 4th of July.
Fellow citizens, pardon me, and allow me to ask, what am I called upon to speak here today? What have I, or those I represent, to do with your national independence? Are the great principles of political freedom and of natural justice embodied in that Declaration of Independence extended to us? And am I, therefore, called upon to bring our humble offering to the national altar and to confess the benefits and express devout gratitude for the blessings resulting from your independence to us? I am not included within the pale of this glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us. The blessings in which you this day rejoice are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of justice, liberty, prosperity, and independence bequeathed by your fathers is shared by you, not by me. The sunlight that brought life and healing to you has brought stripes and death to me. This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You, July, I must mourn. To drag a man in fetters into the grand illuminated temple of liberty and call upon him to join you in joyous anthems were inhuman mockery and sacrilegious irony. Do you mean to mock me by asking me to speak?
Mute your mic, sis. Mute your mic.
To the American slave, his your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days of the year the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is a constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham. Your boasted liberty, an unholy license. Your national greatness, swelling vanity. Your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless. Your denunciation of tyrants, brass-fronted impudence. Your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgivings, with all your religious parade and solemnity, are to him mere bombast, fraud, deception, impiety, and hypocrisy. A thin veil to cover up crimes that would disgrace a nation of savages. There's not a nation of the earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody than are the people of these United States at this very hour. At a time like this, scorching irony, not convincing argument, is needed. Oh, had I the ability and could reach the nation's ear, I would today pour forth a stream, a fiery stream of biting ridicule, blasting reproach, withering sarcasm, and stern rebuke. For it is not light that is needed, but fire. It is not the gentle shower, but thunder. We need the storm, the whirlwind, the earthquake. The feeling of the nation must be quickened. The conscience of the nation must be aroused. The propriety of the nation must be startled. The hypocrisy of the nation must be exposed. And crimes against God and man must be proclaimed and denounced.
All right, let me stop sharing my screen. Did everyone hear his words? It was kind of low on my laptop, but did everyone hear what he said about, about celebrating? He said the 4th of July, and then he went on to mention even Thanksgiving. Like, what are we really celebrating?
Exactly.
He said we're celebrating savagery. That's what we're celebrating, savagery and inhumanity. That's what we're, inhumaneness, I'm sorry. That is what we're celebrating when we take part in these days. So why, again, continue to celebrate that stuff and not celebrate ourselves? Does anyone want to share any thoughts before we close out?
Well, I didn't necessarily want to share a thought, but I had a quick question to Black Panther just to see, what his views were. I was watching this TV show, American Gods, and it broke down. I don't know if you watched it. If not, it's actually a pretty decent show, and it's breaking down how certain gods ended up in America and how we worship them and all of that. Have you ever seen that TV show?
I've only seen one clip, and that's of the one where Brother Orlando Jones was playing the African deity Anansi.
Yeah.
With the brothers that were on the slave ship, and how he gave them the basically the history of our people up until now, and gave them the charge to basically burn the boat and slit the Portuguese throat.
Yeah.
So that's the only clip I've seen of that show. I know a little bit about the show. I know people that read the books, but as far as deities reaching America and the islands and things of that nature, African deities especially, we know how that happened. Through the transatlantic slave trade, Africans took their deities with them. So African spiritual systems ended up in places like Cuba, in places like Brazil, in places like the Caribbean islands, and finally, here in America as well. So, African people don't just pick up and leave what they hold dear in their heart where they were. They brought all their traditions. You got to think when these people were kidnapping people, they weren't asking who did the best occupation or what is your occupation. They were kidnapping priests, babalaos, in gangas, sangomas, all of these different names for people that are initiated into different crafts. We were able to tell where you were from by the marks on your face, by the scars that you carried of your tribe. Certain Africans knew what that meant, and they got together and they continued that worship and continued that practice. That is why one of the major laws on plantations was no drumming. They knew what the drums meant. They knew that that was a means of communication for us. They knew that that was connected to our spiritual system. So they would cut the hands off of people that were caught drumming.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, these deities did travel to many places that they probably would have never gotten if it wasn't for the Ma'afa. And their legends grew as they went to different places. There's a legend about Oshun in Africa and in Cuba, because there's a discrepancy about the way her appearance. Of course, she's an African deity, but in Cuba, you'll find her depicted as a light-skinned Cuban or a light-skinned, very light-skinned, not African-featured looking woman. And some people have a problem with that. But there is a story of why. And the story goes like this. One day, Oshun was looking for all of her people that worshipped her. She went to Yemaja, who is another deity of the ocean. She said, "Where are my people? Where are my people?" She said, "They have traveled away to a foreign land." She said, "I want to go see my people. I miss my people." So Oshun traveled on the waters of Yemaja to this strange new land. When she got there, she recognized that her people did not look the same, for they had been there for many years and had changed. So she changed her appearance to be with her people in Cuba. That is the way that story goes. And if you follow that story, you obviously, you're talking about the transatlantic slave trade. Obviously, you're talking about a people that have been in a different equatorial zone. Now they look different. So she presents herself in a way to be with those people there. Not to say that she's not still in Africa, because there are many Oshun festivals in Africa that depict her as jet black. But that is how the story goes. And I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, yeah, you did. You probably want to watch the rest of that little show, because it was pretty, interesting what they were doing. I just want to see what you thought of it.
I plan to. I do. I plan to, sis.
I also have a question for you, Brother Black Panther. How do you feel about the celebration of Kwanzaa? Because we do know that that's not an African. So how do you?
I knew I wasn't gonna get off this program
without that question being asked. I had to ask.
I said, what? I started tricking myself. I said, you know what? Maybe I am gonna get off. Maybe they're not gonna ask me. Maybe I'll be able to get off of here. Nope.
No. You said once somebody got to bring it up, and it was me. It was me. But how do you feel about that? Like, we know that's not an authentic African holiday. Like, it's not. But how do you feel about people replacing Christmas with Kwanzaa? Like, how do you feel about that?
Look, I have brothers that celebrate Kwanzaa, and for me, I don't personally celebrate it. I never personally celebrated it because of two things. Number one, its creator. Mr. Karenga, the FBI informant who set up many Black Panthers to go down, and the operator of SNCC who was doing certain things with the FBI to get Panthers in jail. I never respected him for his crimes against the Black woman. I never respected him for you know, the things that he did. So, being that he created Kwanzaa, I was never had any inclination to celebrate it because I just didn't respect it. The second reason is Kwanzaa seems to be an Africanized version of Hanukkah. And if you look at Hanukkah and you look at Kwanzaa, there are many similarities all the way down to the candle holder. And it just seems like they tried to Africanize Hanukkah and put it into their traditions. Okay, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. I don't bang on people. I don't complain. I don't, you know, I just don't celebrate it in my household. You know, me and my wife, we don't celebrate Kwanzaa. But I don't go out of my way to, you know, go against Kwanzaa. I know many dedicated Africans that celebrate Kwanzaa. It's just not for me. I like days that are attached to cultures because culture is what we need to get back on track as a people. The ancestors want us to come back to the traditions. Our survival depends upon getting away from these European paradigms and getting back to our traditions. So I like days that are attached to something meaningful, something that I can point you to in history and go, look, we've been doing this for thousands of years. Something that has a deity attached to it, an energy of a certain force of nature that I can go, look, this is attached to this. Honor this force in nature. For this gives you water, or for this gives you fire, or lightning, or iron, or whatever the force of nature does. I like something that is attached to something of meaning. And for me, Kwanzaa does not fulfill that request. So I don't personally celebrate it.
Got you. Okay. I mean, well, that's fair enough. Now, I do want to add this, that Geronimo Pratt wrote a book, and I could get the title of the book to you. He wrote a book refuting that Karenga was an FBI informant and got Black Panthers locked up and all of that. It was actually in his book where he was saying that wasn't true. There was a rumor for quite some time, but in his book, a book that he wrote, and I can grab the book for you, the title, and I can get the page number to you also. In his book, he mentioned that he wasn't an informant and had nothing to do with Black Panther members getting set up and locked up. And so I know that a lot of people believe that. I know at one point I believed it until a brother Grayson, the creator of Tell Me Who I Am, Kid Positive, he hit me with the source. And it was an autobiography of Geronimo Pratt. In that book, he cleared Karenga's name. So I don't know if it was anything behind that, but he did speak up on behalf of Karenga, and he did it, that whole claim that he was a rat and an informant and set up Black Panther Party members. But the other stuff I had no idea about Black Panther. Like, I didn't know, you said his crimes against Black women. I had no idea about that. And wow.
Yes, Baba John Henry Clark goes into detail about that in some of his speeches on how he refused to call him, because you know his name was Mulanga Karenga, and he refused to call him that because the name Mulanga is an African deity, and he refused to call him that because of what he had done. So John Henry Clark was no fan of his. for his crimes against the Black woman. There are rape allegations. There are abuse of people that knew Karenga. So I couldn't rock with nobody that really stood for that.
Right.
I would be interested in the information about him being an FBI informant, but that's not going to change my.
Oh yeah, I sent it. I sent that to you, Brother Black Panther. I sent you the reference.
Cool.
And the I'll shoot that to you right after we get off the show. And brothers and sisters who are listening, Brother Black Panther just sent me the names of the African holidays that he described in great detail. And I'm putting them in the description box now, and I'm getting ready to click save. So it's there. So if you go to the description box of this video, you'll see the African holidays there. There's no descriptions. It's just a list of the names, but they're there. I want to show brothers and sisters this book that you and I were discussing earlier, Brother Black Panther. You want to read more about African people and European holidays? Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. If you want to read more about African people and European holidays, please check out the work of Brother Barashango. I don't want to mispronounce his first name. It looked like it's Ishaka Musa Barashango.
You got it.
Okay, Ishaka. Thank you. I hate killing someone's name, man. But Ishaka Musa Barashango has a book. I believe it says that this book was published in 1979. He has a book 1 and a book 2 discussing African people and European holidays, and he called it a mental genocide. So this is book 1, and this is book 2, which was published in 1983. It's on Amazon for what, $14, $15. So if you get a chance, order the book. I have to be honest, I haven't ordered it or read it personally, but I do plan on grabbing these books. I consulted with Brother Black Panther before the show, and I asked him, did he hear, have you ever heard of Brother Barashango? He said, oh, yeah. He said, and I heard about those books, and they were good books. And so, if he said they're good, I go, you heard Brother Black Panther's presentation. So if he says it's a good book to have.
I've listened to many of his lectures, and he's early in my development. He was very instrumental because he was the first guy I had ever heard say that he hated white people. And he just said it just so calmly. He's like, I hate white people. And I was like, whoa, like wow. Just so calmly. And I remember a guy in the audience was like, why? And he was like, because I never know what they're going to do. That's just the way he was. And earlier, you quoted Naeem Akbar. I have to give him a shout out because when I was a young man in Atlanta, Georgia, going to Hillside Chapel and Truth Center Church, Naeem Akbar was in there preaching. And little did I know who he was or what he stood for or what he did, but he was instrumental in my upbringing as well. It took me years after that to figure out who he actually was in this pantheon and his connection to Wade Nobles and the many tours that they have put together in Ghana. So shout out to him as well.
Yeah, I have all of his books. I love Naeem Akbar. I have Know Thyself, Community of Self, Breaking the Chains of Psychological Slavery. I read a lot of his work back in the 90s. And like you said, I mean, his work is dead on. And so I hope one day to get this elder on the show. We were actually trying to get him to come and speak in Baltimore, but the elder asked for $5,000, Brother Black Panther. And I said, we couldn't swing it, man. We couldn't swing it. He said he wanted 5,000, and I said, it was nice talking to you, and then we were trying to also we were also trying to get Sister Joy DeGury. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly.
I'm not sure.
DeGury, yeah, DeGury. We were trying to get her here.
Syndrome.
Yeah, we were trying to get her here to discuss her book. And she wanted $10,000, Brother Black Panther. So she wanted $10,000. to come to Baltimore. And so, you know, myself and Reality Speaks and some of the brothers at Temple of New African Thought, we couldn't swing that bill. So hopefully maybe one day do a phone interview or something like that.
Tell them I'll come for 500.
You know, hey, we will bring you though, Brother Pantha. We need you down here in Baltimore when you get back home. We need you to come through here, man, and give a presentation. We need to bring you back. We need to bring you back.
Not in the winter. I'm cool.
And not at everyone's place.
No. We went. Yeah, we were. You know. Yeah, that was Brother Onk, and I'm gonna say it on air. That was Brother Onk's idea to do it down there, to do it in everyone's place.
No, everyone's place is a great place. I just wanted to clarify.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
mad against the location. It's just not big enough.
Books.
But I love that bookstore. It's amazing. They got nice clothes, like amazing books.
Yeah, but the space, it was very congested. It was very congested. It was kind of like we were on top of each other, you know, when we were down there. It was like you said, the space was kind of small. The space where they get, you know, where they hold the presentations, that was kind of small. So like you said, it's a great place. We call that, you know, like our Mecca here in Baltimore. So
I got something special there, man. Bookstores like that, they're not in every community. I'll tell you that. I mean, that's probably the most impressive collection of African-centered books I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, and for those who are listening, they do ship world, African World Books. That is the name of the mother company. Everyone's place is like the bookstore, but they, you know, their distribution company is called African World Books. So if you want a book, if you know, I would actually recommend you going to get these books from everyone's place versus jumping on and getting them from Amazon. You know, so check out African World Books. You can call them, you can Google them, you call in your order, or you can, I think that their website is down, so you would have to call them. But just Google African World Books and they ship out, and they ship not only to residentials and businesses, they ship to prisons too. I've gone there and picked up a lot of books and had them ship the books to various prisons down in Georgia and prisons throughout Maryland. So they do ship to prisons as well. So
and they carry my brother Asar Imhotep's books as well. So
yeah.
To them for that.
Hey, look, and I'm waiting for Brother Asar Imhotep's response, because you know Dr. Wesley Muhammad put his book out.
Boy. Let me just say, without giving away too much.
Oh yeah, Dr. Wesley Muhammad put his book out there, and so people are ordering. Ra is it called Ra is Allah?
Why Asar Imhotep is wrong.
Yes. Yes. So he's
my brother Asar really got under his skin, boy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Anytime his name is in the daggone title. You know?
I said he immortalized you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But you know, as much as we debate information, you know, we could be out in the streets killing each other. So I respect the years of academic sparring between the two, and it's never turned physical. It's never turned into threats. So I do respect that between those two, and you know, we're gonna continue to get it in.
Oh yeah, and I'm looking forward to the public. I'm looking for the public discussion, you know, on the topic. I know that both of them are trying to, you know, Dr. Wesley Muhammad put out a book, and I know Brother Asar Imhotep is working on a book, you know, in response to Dr. Wesley's claims. But I'm looking forward to the battle Armageddon. I'm looking forward to the battle.
Let's see if we can make it happen, because in my opinion, it should have happened years ago. But we'll see if you know, the Dr. Wesley steps up to the plate.
I think he will. I think he will. I think he's very impressed.
Because this ain't Ray Hagen's. This ain't
Tahuti
Steady
or Tahuti.
This ain't natural Tahuti.
Mm-hmm.
This is real African scholarship, and he gonna have to bring it.
Oh yeah, I think he would step up. I think he'll step up. I think he's very impressed with Brother Asar, and I think he's intrigued by Brother Asar. So I think he's going to step up. I will hope that he does because I'm looking forward to the public discourse.
We'll see.
I'm looking forward to it. So let's take questions from the chat. Does anyone in the chat have Brother Jehudi Ma'at said Asar gonna beat the pseudo out of that? You know what?
Jehudi.
Brother Jehudi Ma'at, he is so simple.
MBK in the building.
And two. So they then you got Brother Sean P says Saul gonna beat that boy up scholastically. So they going in the chat room. But brothers and sisters in the chat room, do you guys have any questions for Brother Black Panther before we close out? Do you have any questions before we close out? I'm looking at the chat room right now. Looking at the chat room right now. And if you have a question, please post it so that I can ask Brother Black Panther.
Shouts out to Brother Sean, Sesu Metanecha, NBK. And brothers is always family, always down. So, shouts out to both of those groups, as always. Shouts out to the Raising Awareness group, because they will kill me if I don't mention their name. I forget. I'm involved in so many things. But shouts out to the Raising Awareness group, Mossi Warrior Clan, Amara Squad, Dagger Squad. Shouts out to them. If I missed it, my Ifa Temple, Elisha Ire. Shouts out to them. And if I missed anybody, I sincerely apologize, and it was just my error and absent-mindedness.
Okay, fantastic, Brother Black Panther. You have two questions. Sister Kashay Ivy, she said, why do folks name themselves after African deities?
That's actually an African tradition. Now, there's an issue because there's a willingness and a desire to express yourself once you come into knowledge of African history. Nothing wrong with that willingness, but people tend to name themselves after their favorite deities, after the deities that, they most identify with or read a great story about or something like that. Like there's 1,000 Herus. If I had to count for how many brothers I met, or if I say I got $50 for every brother I met named Heru, I could retire. So the issue is, in African tradition, it is not you that picks your name, but ritual and ceremony are done to determine what your name will be. For example, I did not pick my Ifa name. I went through several ceremonies to get my full Ifa name, which is Ifa Dele Akinloye Egulana Adebonke. Now, I wouldn't have been able to pick that anyway, because that would have never came to me. But those are the type of names that Africans have. Heru Ma'at, you ain't going to find that in the scriptures. Each name is a story of that person's purpose. The name tells you your road in life. So African people do have names with deities in them, and they do name themselves in specific ritual and manner. But you also have people that are just naming themselves after their favorite deities. My advice would be get initiated into an African system, and then you can earn your name versus naming yourself. Because oftentimes, especially with ancient Egyptian, you name yourself a name that doesn't grammatically flow with the names that you chose. Everybody likes to say Ramses or Ramesu, where his full name is Ursamat Ra Septepen Ra Ramesu Mariana. Nobody's just going to guess that. But it grammatically flows with the sound laws of Medu Neter. Just like another king, Shosher Neterket. See, it's distinct grammar and meticulous thought put into every one of their names. So I hope I answered there. It was a sister, right?
Yes, it was a sister. And then another sister, and then Brother Jehudi Ma'at said, does Black Panther, well, he asked, does Brother Black Panther plan on publishing something on replacing these European holidays with African festivals as a guide for us? That's now, Brother Black Panther, I think that's awesome.
I never thought of that. Other than the presentation, I had never thought of publishing something, but that's definitely a new idea he's giving me.
Oh yeah, I think that would be awesome. You know, where you could do that. I love it. And then someone asked for your website.
I do not have a personal one, but I am on several websites. You can read my articles on MagiArchers.com. That's MADJAI.com. And you can find it under the academic section. I have 3 articles on there. You can always find my videos on my YouTube channel, Black Panther, BLAK PANTHA. You can also find the Mossi Warrior Clan videos on Mossi Warrior Clan YouTube channel. You can pick up my children's book, Aaron Knows About Africa, on Amazon. And you can, while you're there, buy my wife's book, Perceptions of a Misplaced African, also on Amazon.
They said, look, they said, we need that, bro. Brother Jehudi Ma'at. He said, we need that, bro. So,
all right.
That would be hot. So
somebody just get Black Panther to write something. Black Panther needs to write a book.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait a minute. I done wrote 3 articles.
I know we ready for a Black Panther book. We need a book from the Black Panther.
Yeah, we're ready, brother. We're ready.
Well, I ain't decided on a topic. That's the hardest thing is getting started. So I haven't got the exact topic in my head. I've erased titles 4 or 5 times. The issue to me, I could write on a lot of different things, but for me, the purpose of scholarship is building on what your scholars did of yesterday and adding something to it.
Absolutely. You know,
I have a lot of research and knowledge, but I don't want to put out a regurgitation book of some stuff that you already know.
Mm-hmm. Right. And
you can already find.
And I respect that, Brother Panther. And that was really my issue coming into the whole conscious community when people, I'm not going to call names, some New York cats, but brothers that say, I wrote this book, I got 100 books. I say, well, wait a minute. I got 80 books, I got 70 books. And I say, well, wait a minute, in academia, you don't publish. Yeah, in academia, we, of course we do a review of literature, on a topic, but we only publish new findings. That was it. I was always taught to publish new findings. So like you say, you may recap what has been done before you, but then you add something to it. And that's the point of publishing it. But I know you can add a lot to it, Brother Panther, because you've done field research that hasn't been published. So, you know, when you talk about African festivals and holidays and things of that nature, you know, you and your wife guys have gone over there a few times and have seen things and have pictures that we've never seen that you could put in a book. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think
need to hit a few more places first. I gotta hit Ghana, the Congo, and the Gambia. Those are three. If I could make it to those three places, I could write a hell of a book. Congo, I gotta go find Dr. Fukiao's people, which practice the Kimpasi, the Limba, and the Kimba. I gotta go find those people. In Ghana, I'd like to find the people that are practicing the Akan tradition, and in Gambia, I have to find the people, the Suri tribe that are still practicing the Fadrug. And you know, if I got that information, I think I could write off 200-300 pages. But I'm still researching and developing a topic, because one thing about writing, my primary lane is African spirituality. And in African spirituality, our systems are very secret. You have to get permission from some of these people to put this stuff in a book.
I didn't know that.
You can't just go be putting. Yes, every one of these books that you see, like Dr. Fukiao's African Bantu Cosmology, Malidoma Some's Water and the Spirit, even Wade Noble's Island of Memes, they got permission to put that stuff in that book. You can't just go putting people's sacred arts and cultures in a book. Some people have issues with that. If you pick up one of Olokun Fatumi's books, you'll see in the beginning of the book, he names all of these African Babalawos that gave him permission to write that book. So, you know, it's just a step-by-step process, but, you know, I'll get it done.
Excellent. Well, again, Brother Black Panther, thank you for that wonderful presentation. I want to take this time to shout out everybody in the chat room. Want to thank Brother Doug, Brother Sean P, Brother Jehudi Ma'at. Like to thank the sisters that were in the building, Kashay Ivy, Rochelle Cody, Lessa Darcy, Shimin Lahi, Dealer Briggs. I see Guy 11. I see I saw Due to Knowledge Radio. I saw a couple
Knowledge
of
in the building. That's my brother right there now.
Yes, he was in the building. We had 2017 BAM, Brother Aaron Jackson. Trying to see if there's anybody else. Alpha Dale Empress King. Young J 216. Back Tip is in the building. And I think that was it. So thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining us. We'll be here again next Wednesday from 1 p.m. until, Sister Raziki, you came back. Oh, is that Sister Raziki? Oh, you came back, sis. So thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining us. Family, do you have any last words before we close out? Sister Raziki, Sister Alima, Sister Cheryl, Sister Black Panther. Any closing words?
No.
Spears is flying.
And Speedos
is crying.
Sister Cheryl.
I really should shirt.
No, I just really enjoyed the show and learned a lot.
Absolutely. Indeed. Absolutely. Sister Raziki? Can't hear you, sis.
She's not muted.
No, she's not muted at all. But I can't. She was talking and she's talking down and I can't hear her.
She probably got some chips in her mic because she always eating something.
Snagging on something. Snagging on something. All right, family. See you next Wednesday from 1 p.m. until. Peace and power. Oh, Sister Monica joined us. You know what? At the close of the show, both y'all want to pop in when we closing out.
My signal. I was in the country. My signal dropped. I'm sorry.
I said both of them got out of there. Sister Monica, Sister Raziki.
And Raziki gone.
Yeah, Raziki gone again. Gone with the wind. But
yeah, Monica was still popping firecrackers from yesterday.
The shade is real.
Y'all know we in the boot. We violate all the rules.
All right, family. Peace and power. Oh, there's Sister Raziki. Sister Raziki.
You can hear me?
We can hear you now.
Okay. No, I was saying I really definitely appreciate the presentation, and as soon as I learn the names, I'm definitely going to start incorporating them. You know, I just didn't know a lot of this stuff. And I do have some exciting news, but maybe I'll save that to next week. So
no, give us the exciting news. Tell us what's up before we close out. We got a few moments.
Okay, well, I'm gonna share my screen right quick. But the reason why I was on and off the phone with you all is because I've been networking with some people in Ghana, and they are from Gamoa, and this particular family is of the Akan tradition. And he sent me this letter. It's really an offer letter. It's called the Freedom Project. And, you know, they want me to come out there to not only help with their project as far as providing drinking water and agricultural efforts, but also to set up a rehabilitation school for children who's been exploited and abused, you know, doing the whole gold mining thing. And also to develop a program that will contribute to the healing of the men and women in our community, in the communities. And so in exchange, like, I'm definitely going to, they want to learn the Tantra, you know, the Tantra piece, the metaphysical piece. And in return, they're going to teach me their herbal science and their metaphysical principles that they use over there as well. So I'm definitely excited. I just got to get my ticket. So I will be doing a little GoFundMe because I definitely want my ticket, but my stay and my food and everything will be paid for. So I'm excited. I'll be going to Ghana and, you know, definitely providing some healing works over there as well. So
that's what's up, sis.
Gonna bring a Ghanaian man back with
Congrats. And I'm sorry I didn't catch the dates. When are the dates?
Yeah. So the dates are let me share it again because he put it in the letter. The dates are, and I can post it if you want, but it's from December. I'm scheduled to come on the 15th of December to the 30th. So I believe he said this is also the letter that he submitted to work on my visa. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent.
I'm excited. Thank you. So if anyone y'all want to donate towards my ticket, holla at your girl, because I know I need.
So you gotta pay you had to pay for your ticket over there, but once you get there.
Yeah. But once I get there, they're paying for my housing and my room and board and everything. I just got to get there because it is a humanitarian project. So really, I'm supposed to pay for everything. But, you know, because of just what I've been doing, they're like, if we could pay for your ticket, we would. But the best we could do is you know, host you and feed you and teach you the things that, you know, we think you can incorporate in your healing works over there. So I'm excited. Absolutely. So I don't mind paying for my ticket. That's a good investment. That's what's up. I mean, shoot. So
yeah. I will be. I know I'm gonna send you with some funds for me. I want a dashiki. I want a couple of.
Let us know when the wedding is.
You know.
What you talking about?
Wedding?
Who
She gonna get her a Ghanaian man.
That
you gonna go over there and get caught?
Man that's waiting on her over there.
Yes. Make sure you find one that don't got all them wives, girl. You know how they do over there, honey.
Oh my God.
Y'all Zeke like a queen.
Okay. I'm excited. Oh, y'all so funny. Hey, I'm open. If I do find me a husband over there, honey, hey, that's what's up.
Yes.
That's what's up. Because we got to bridge the gap anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I'm all right. I'm open, but I'm not looking, but I'm open.
You looking, sis. You looking.
Awesome.
Don't tell nobody.
All right, my bad. We talk about it off there.
Yeah.
My
business out there.
All right, family. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next Wednesday. Peace and power.
Peace and power.